They forgot my face. But they will never forget Spider-Man. Rain falls hard on the streets of New York. Neon lights flicker. Puddles reflect broken images of the city, and headlines from crumpled newspapers scatter across the pavement. One shows J. Jonah Jameson's face screaming about a masked menace. Another headline is torn in half, only the words, "Who is Spider-Man?" barely readable. The city feels cold, unsettled, restless, like it is holding its breath. In the distance, the faint sound of police sirens echo. The camera pans slowly across a dark alley where shadows stretch long and unkind. A figure is seen only in silhouette, perched high above, still and waiting. The sound of raindrops hitting metal echoes louder, almost like a heartbeat. Then suddenly, the figure leaps. The camera follows the blurred motion, and for the first time, Spider-Man swings across the screen, cutting through the storm with speed and power. The music is low, pulsing, almost mournful. As Spider-Man glides past skyscrapers, flashes of light reveal the cracks in his mask, small tears in his suit, as if he has been fighting longer than anyone should. Each swing through the city feels heavier, not like triumph, but survival. Cut to wide shots of New York under the storm, bridges lit up in the rain. People rushing for cover, subway tunnels flooded with shadows. The city looks alive but wounded. The screen tightens on Peter Parker's face. Tom Holland walking through a crowded street in silence. His hood is up, his eyes lowered. Strangers brush past him without recognition, without pause. For them, he is just another face in the crowd. But for the audience, it is a reminder. The world does not remember Peter Parker. The sound of a radio plays faintly in the background. A tired reporter speaks, his words dripping with unease. Crime is rising across Manhattan. Police struggle to keep control. Some say the city hasn't felt fear like this in years. The voice fades, replaced by the sound of heavy rain again. The camera cuts back to Spider-Man. He lands on the rooftop of a crumbling apartment block. He stares across the city skyline, the lights blurring in the storm, 1,000 stories unfolding below him. His head tilts down as though he can hear every cry, every plea for help. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. His silence says it all. This is the weight of being Spider-Man, and it never goes away. The storm grows louder. Lightning flashes, showing the symbol of the spider on his chest, torn but burning bright against the darkness. For a moment, everything slows. The sound of the storm, the chaos of the city, the weight of his isolation. Then, with one sharp movement, he shoots out another web and disappears into the night. The words appear on screen in bold silver letters. The world may not remember Peter Parker, but the city will always need Spider-Man. The rain fades. The screen goes dark. The storm of the night breaks into dawn. The first golden light creeps across the New York skyline, touching rooftops that still glisten with rain. For a moment, the city feels reborn, cleaner, sharper, as though the storm washed away yesterday's fears. The screen glows warm, in sharp contrast to the shadows of the opening. A subway rumbles below, horns echo through the avenues, and the sound of life rushes back in. New York is awake, and the new day has begun. The camera follows Peter Parker from behind as he walks through the crowd. He moves like a ghost among them, unseen, unremembered. Strangers laugh, couples argue, street performers play jazz by the corner. For the world, it's just another morning. But for him, each step is heavy, each sound a reminder that his sacrifice erased who he was. He doesn't belong to the crowd anymore, he belongs above it. Then the screen shifts. A faint spark of hope enters. A red-haired girl steps into focus, her presence cutting through the noise. Sadie Sink's character. She's walking with determination, her eyes sharp yet carrying something fragile. She collides with Peter by accident, and time slows. Papers scatter, hands brush for only a second, but the camera lingers. She looks at him not with recognition, but with a strange curiosity, like she sees the weight he hides. It's the first glimpse of something new. A connection waiting to be written. The sound of a radio broadcast cuts in, layered over the moment. A news anchor's voice, calm yet serious. Reports of unexplained power surges, mass break-ins, and escalating gang wars continue to grow. Police are calling it a wave of coordinated attacks. Others are calling it something worse. Quick montage, flashing lights in alleys, masked figures pulling weapons from crates, shadows trading money and tech. The city is changing. Beneath the warmth of the sun, something darker crawls. The camera cuts to Spider-Man's new suit sleek, sharper lines, a brighter emblem glowing in the light. He soars above the skyline, flipping gracefully between skyscrapers, the sunlight painting him in gold. The score rises, no longer mournful but filled with an urgent rhythm. His movements feel renewed, faster, freer, as though the new day fuels him, a sequence of rapid shots. Spider-Man, swinging past a crumbling bridge as cars screech to a stop. Citizens raising their phones, cheering as he flips overhead. A young boy wearing a homemade Spider-Man mask pointing up, smiling, but the joy is brief. The montage turns darker. Explosions rip through a city block, smoke rising in thick clouds. Shadows dart through the chaos. A figure with glowing eyes vanishes into the mist. A gang of masked men storms through a bank, leaving chaos in their wake. MJ appears, her face framed in the chaos, watching from afar. Her eyes carry pain, longing, and the weight of memories she doesn't understand. She doesn't know why Spider-Man's image breaks her heart, but the feeling is they're unspoken, undeniable. The screen lingers on her gaze before cutting away. The score slows again, heavier. Peter stands on a rooftop at sunset, looking down as the city fights to hold itself together. His mask is in his hand, rain dripping from its edges. The world may not remember him, but he remembers every face, every promise, every failure. His reflection stares back at him from the cracked glass of a skyscraper window. He presses the mask back on, sealing his fate once again. The screen cuts to black. Then, in burning white text, the words appear, "Every day is a chance to begin again." But for Spider-Man, every day is a chance to save the city. Or lose it forever. A loud swell of the score bursts, pulling the audience back into motion. Spider-Man leaps once more into the golden sky, soaring higher than ever, chasing the light before the darkness claims it, *, the golden sky fades. Clouds gather again, heavy and restless. The city that looked reborn only hours ago now trembles under the weight of something unseen. A helicopter spotlight scans across the East River, catching glimpses of smoke rising from the docks. The screen cuts to a broken sign swinging in the wind, letters bent, sparks falling. The warmth of the brand new day collapses into unease. The scene shifts. A warehouse door slams open in the shadows. Figures move inside, carrying crates marked with strange symbols glowing with a faint green pulse. The camera doesn't reveal their faces, only their outlines, moving like soldiers, disciplined and dangerous. The silence inside is broken by one sound, a distorted laugh echoing across the metal beams. A voice whispers from the dark, low and sharp, "Every empire falls. And New York is next." The screen flashes with chaos. A car explodes in the middle of Times Square. Pedestrians scatter, screams cutting through the noise. Police barriers collapse under a wave of masked men, their weapons glowing with stolen tech. The city is no longer safe and daylight danger now lives in every corner. Hiding in plain sight, the music builds with a pounding rhythm. Spider-Man dives into the chaos, flipping through smoke, pulling civilians out of collapsing taxis, webbing down thugs armed with weapons far beyond street-level crime. But the fight doesn't feel balanced. For every enemy he stops, two more rise from the shadows. The camera lingers on his movements, sharper, faster, yet heavier with exhaustion. His breath fogs inside the mask. A quick cut reveals Sadie Sink's character running through a school hallway as alarms blare. Glass shattering around her. A masked figure pursues her, footsteps pounding louder, faster. She slams a door shut, but the lock twists open with unnatural strength. Her scream cuts off as the screen goes black. The pace slows. MJ is shown standing in her apartment, the city's glow spilling through her window. She clutches an old sketchbook, flipping through drawings she doesn't remember making. Her hand shakes as her eyes land on a page, a crude sketch of Spider-Man's mask drawn years ago. Tears gather, though she doesn't know why. Her voice trembles as she whispers, "Why does it feel like I've lost something I can't remember?" The screen fractures into rapid cuts. a shadowy figure standing on a rooftop, lightning flashing behind him, his eyes burning gold. Bridges crumbling under explosions, entire streets swallowed by smoke. Police radios crackling. We're losing control of Midtown, requesting backup now. A masked villain slamming Spider-Man against a shattered billboard. Sparks flying as he struggles to break free. The chaos builds higher and higher. The music is now frantic, pulsing like a racing heartbeat. Spider-Man swings through collapsing buildings, webs snapping under the strain. He catches a falling bus mid-air, straining every muscle to keep it from crashing into the street below. His voice echoes faintly in the chaos. Every choice comes with a cost. The camera slows again, pulling tight on his mask. His reflection in a broken window shows not just Spider-Man, but the boy beneath it. Tired, beaten, but unwilling to stop. The storm around him rages on, but his resolve burns brighter. Then, silence. The screen fades to black. Out of the darkness, a distorted voice rises, harsh, taunting. Unforgettable. The day you saved New York was the day you doomed it. The words linger. The sound of metal clashing echoes in the distance. The screen lights up again with one final image. Spider-Man crashing through fire, his suit torn, his mask cracked. But his hands still clenched in a fighter's stance. The text slams onto the screen in blood-red letters. Every hero creates their enemies. The music cuts. Only silence remains. Asterisk, the screen is dark. The sound of heavy breathing fills the silence. Then slowly Spider-Man stumbles into view, his suit shredded, his mask cracked down the middle. He kneels on the edge of a rooftop, the city burning behind him, smoke swallowing the skyline. His hands tremble, his chest rises and falls with exhaustion. For a moment, it looks like he cannot rise again. A single voice echoes in his head. Soft, broken, his own. If I can't save them all, what kind of Spider-Man am I? The score begins low, one piano key, then another haunting, delicate, almost fragile. The city glows red in the distance, sirens wailing like cries for help. Quick cuts flash across the screen. Sadie Sink's character screaming as she's dragged into the shadows. MJ clutching her sketchbook, whispering Spider-Man's name without knowing why. The terrified faces of children huddled in a school gym as masked men break in. Every face, every voice, every heartbeat of the city presses down on him. Then silence. Spider-Man stands. His body shakes, but his grip tightens on the mask. He pulls it back over his face, sealing away Peter Parker's doubts. The camera lingers on his cracked lens. Reflecting the flames of New York, the piano fades into drum slow at first, then building. Pounding like war, a flurry of action explodes across the screen. Spider-Man dives headfirst through fire, webs snapping out to pull civilians from collapsing bridges. He grapples with a villain on the edge of a skyscraper, glass shattering as they crash through windows. The camera spins as he swings at impossible speeds, dodging explosions that rip through entire blocks. His webs coil around a collapsing tower, straining against the weight. Holding it long enough for the crowd below to escape, the score crescendo strings wailing. Drums pounding, the sound of a city on the brink. In the chaos. MJ looks up from the street, her eyes locking onto Spider-Man mid-swing. She doesn't know why her heart stops, but she feels it deep, unexplainable. The camera lingers on her tearful gaze, then cuts back to Spider-Man flying through smoke. The two moments colliding in silence before the noise crashes back. A villain slams him down onto a bridge, sparks flying. He groans, nearly crushed. But as the camera pulls close, we see it, his eyes narrow, his grip tightening, every ounce of strength burning within him. He fights back with a roar, tearing free. Swinging his enemy into the flames, the montage quickens shots of webs snapping across the screen. Explosions lighting the night sky, civilians screaming but also cheering as Spider-Man rises again and again. The pace is relentless, like a heartbeat racing toward the end, then it all slows. The music drops out, Spider-Man stands on a rooftop in the rain, chest heaving, staring out over the battered city. His mask is torn, his suit burned, but he is still standing. A single line echoes, almost like a whisper carried on the wind. The world may not remember Peter Parker, but the city will always need Spider-Man. The screen cuts to black, A pause, silence. Then the title smashes across the screen in burning red and silver letters. Spider-Man, brand new DA. The score blasts once more, triumphant, powerful, unstoppable. Final shot. Spider-Man swings directly toward the camera, webs cutting across the screen. Just before impact, the screen cuts to black again, white letters appear, coming 2026, only in theaters. The music ends on a single, sharp note, leaving the audience breathless.